Powkiddy Max 2 is yet another Powkiddy handheld with yet the same RK3326 chip that we've been playing on for years now, but that doesn't stop me from really liking it. As you know, I've reviewed a lot of Powkiddy handhelds in the past, but this one here is by far their best handheld yet, and in fact, it's the first handheld that actually competes with Anbernic products, who, as you may know, are currently the go-to in this affordable market. What Powkiddy has done, like their other handhelds, is rush new features to the market, which here is the larger screen with an ergonomic design, and previously their rushed products that have been bad, just like the X18S, which I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, and somehow they've managed to nail this one on the head. But in Powkiddy fashion, they really screwed this up in one place, which has never happened in a handheld review before. In fact, this is the first time I've seen this in my whole YouTube career. So let's take a look. First of all, let's compare it to the older RGB10 Max, which only recently came out too. The quick decision to create a second version is unlike Powkiddy, but either way I have it in my hands. The new Max 2 has a 5-inch IPS display, which is in fact slightly brighter than the original Max, making it one of the bigger selling points for you to upgrade. The most obvious change is the new ergonomic design and thinner style towards the center of the device. Around the back of the analog sticks, the shell protrudes with a rounded, comfortable grip, which feels superb in the hand. And because of this, my fingers rest exactly where they need to be, making it feel close to perfect in the hand. My thumbs rest on the D-pad and action buttons, and my index finger on the back trigger buttons. The shoulder buttons are stacked and slightly flared, and again protrude slightly out of the shell towards the back, making it look curvy in the right places. R1 and L2 slide around the sides of the handheld slightly, making it easier to press, but I did notice that it's better to press it lower down the buttons than on the top, as where my fingers rested at times didn't even press down at all. When you hold this, the handheld kind of disappears in your hand, in a good way. This makes the screen grab your attention more than anything, adding a nice immersive experience when holding it near your face. Powkiddy has also hidden all of the non-important buttons towards the top. For example, your reset buttons, on-off, Wi-Fi, headphone jack, volume buttons, and your USB-C ports, which are all hiding towards the top, which I really do like. Then on the bottom, you'll find your two speaker grills, which are located away from your hands and fingers, allowing for the best possible sound experience, which, in all honesty, it isn't the best, but hey, these speakers work great for your favorite retro games. You don't need the best quality speakers on these things. Now moving back to the face buttons, your analog sticks dip slightly into the handheld, allowing you to put this into your pocket or bag without ripping them off. And the D-pad alongside the action buttons are bouncy and responsive. The only change I would personally make would be to make the A, B, X, Y buttons slightly larger because they are quite small, but this is just me being picky. One of my favourite features of the Powkiddy Max 2 is one that may go unnoticed, and that's the incredibly small bezels around the display. This tiny change adds this high quality touch to the device, and again adds to the immersive experience you get with this handheld. Overall, in terms of design, I personally really like the way the Max 2 looks and feels. It's a step in the right direction. The new plastic used has a matte touch to it that doesn't show fingerprints, the brighter display is welcome, and the new ergonomic design makes it feel like a completely new handheld. So now let's talk about the specs. The Powkiddy Max 2 features a quad-core RK3326 chipset which runs at 1.5 GHz, 1 GB of RAM, a 5-inch LCD display with a resolution of 854 by 480, 4200 mAh battery, Wi-Fi and USB charging. Does that sound familiar? Well, it should, because it's identical to the RGB10 Max. The only difference really is the brighter display, the shell design and some better quality buttons. Like many of Powkiddy's products, everything comes preloaded. This one they actually sent us has thousands of games installed, and they've even added some very nice custom firmware, which makes the handheld easy to use straight out of the box. However, Somehow, and probably through very poor quality checks, our unit came with a section that, well, makes us think that there could have been some adult material added to the console. How this got here, I honestly do not know, and the files inside are called CCTV, which at first scared the living crap out of me, but it turns out that these are in fact Chinese TV stations, and the part we are in is simply the media player. But that said, somehow this well-known brand logo got into the device, and that itself is extremely worrying, and because of that, I cannot recommend giving this to a child. After contacting Powkiddy, they literally said to me they have removed it from other handhelds that they're going to sell, but I've heard that before, so please do, if you are buying this for a child, the easiest thing to do is simply go into the UI settings and change the theme. This will remove the adult logo part and make your handheld look slightly different. If you want to, you can go into the SD card and check the files on this media player and to remove it via there, which gets rid of it basically permanently. And this is all extremely unprofessional, and this is what you get from the Chinese retro handhelds, and Powkiddy in its entirety are well known for very poor quality checks and rushing things to the market. So unfortunately this is kind of the risk you take when buying from China, but there is a way around it with the UI settings. Moving on to performance, like any RK3326 chipset, it's capped at playing everything up to PS1 games. So your NES, your Game Boy, your SNES, Neo Geo, Mega Drive and so on will work perfectly on this thing, and because of the 16:9 screen, the OS automatically adds borders for you so that you're not just seeing black boxes. Some may say the 16:9 screen on a chipset like this that's capped at PlayStation 1 is a bit over the top, and I would agree, but the UI alongside the borders makes it look less out of place and something I can personally live with. For those of you that are looking for N64, Dreamcast and PSP emulation, I recommend waiting a few months for some newer handhelds like the RG552 and the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus, which are just around the corner and can outperform this by a mile. The bright screen alongside the well-placed high-quality buttons packaged in a very ergonomic thin light handheld makes this a real fun device to play on. In fact, it's up there with the likes of the RG351P in terms of enjoyment, and if you've been around for a while you know I really love that handheld. It's Powkiddy's first handheld that I highly recommend picking up if it's your first RK3326 handheld. Should you buy it if you already have a handheld like that? No, absolutely not. But if you are new to the scene and want one of the best RK3326 handhelds on the market, then this is a good shout for those of you that want a larger screen. But if you want quality, then I recommend checking out the RG351MP. Both are great, but both have their own advantages. The Max 2 is also stacked full of ROMs, has superb firmware, and overall feels great in the hand straight out of the box. And it's a handheld that I can recommend to anyone who doesn't want to tinker through emulators just to get a few more frames out of N64 gameplay, let's say. This is undoubtedly one of the best RK3326 handhelds on the market, but it's arrived slightly too late, and if you're like me, you already have your eyes on other handhelds with far more powerful chips for a similar price. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you want to see even more retro handheld reviews, hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.